What's up, everybody? Good day to you. Today's Friday. It's the end of the week. We're actually going to early out it because I feel like celebrating some accomplishments that we had this week. So this is a major accomplishment on my part. I've got the electrical nonsense nightmare, I think, sort of worked out with this thing. Found a couple of problems with the battery grounding system, which I have not yet rectified. But if we take a look right here, look at that. There's our that's our primary battery ground from the negative cable on this battery, which is mounted midship. It's not up there, it's all the way back here. So that means that the power wire runs all the way up. That's quite extensive. And I think the ground issue is causing some high resistance in the cranking circuit, which has caused the difficult to start / crank syndrome. What I mean by that is if this battery is not completely full and topped off, this thing will not turn over. Now, we fixed the ghost cranking issue. There was an issue with the starter solenoid itself, so we actually put in a replacement low profile high torque starter, and it no longer ghost cranks. And what I meant by ghost crank is what this car would do is it would just randomly start slowly just cranking for no reason until it killed its own battery. And that's the reason I believe that this primary power disconnect switch was removed. The other issue this car had with the electronic system is if we look way back under this behind the battery, you see that amplifier and that bazooka radio stereo? That amplifier was wired up directly to the battery, and it did not have an ignition source that would shut it down. So for the time being, that's disconnected and the battery drain is no longer present. So that thing was wired up wrong. The amplifier never shut down. It constantly killed that battery and brought the charge level down, which made the vehicle not want to start. On top of that, there's some excessive, I'm going to call it excessive because this is not a super high output alternator, but there's some excessive electrical loads on this. Being a 1977 Chevrolet Corvette chassis with the Shelby Cobra kit car body on there, they ended up stuffing in this big block Chevrolet motor. I think this is a 454. And because of that, they had to install a super large radiator for the kit car conversion. And that radiator required the use of these electric fans right here. One of the issues is, let me back up. The Shelbys were always plagued with the cooling system issue, but those two fans were not able to keep up with the cooling capacity of this big block Chevrolet. So what I did to rectify that is I added another semi-historically accurate electric fan as a pusher on the front of this unit. So the back side, it's got a 12-inch fan right here and a 12-inch fan right here, and then I put this 15-inch, 14 or 15, maybe 16. I put this fan here in the center as a pusher. Now, the original Shelbys, they had a pair of like and similar looking fans here and here, kind of floating on a bracket. Those fans, the period correct fans for the front of this radiator are remarkably expensive. It's like $800 just for the two fans. Then you've got to fabricate a bracket. So part of the cooling system issue here is it's an airflow problem. So what I'm going to do after having added this extra fan right here, we're going to get some conveyor belt material, like some super thick rubber, and I'm going to build like a shroud right here and right here to close off this entire area from the engine compartment. That means any air that these fans are pulling, all three of them, they're going to pull right here from this area. So as it sits now, these fans are able to pull air from here. They're able to pull air from under the hood right there and just kind of circulate it around. And that's contributing to the heat soak problem and the overheating situation. Now, on top of the three fans on the radiator, this vehicle also happens to be equipped with, see if I can't see one. There's a couple extras like computer fans that they're using as an exhaust to vent some of the air. Yeah, there's one of them right there. That's there to bring air from inside of the engine compartment out through the vents over here on the side. If we look in a little deep, like underneath those power wires, we can see the fan in there hanging out. So I don't know if that was a factory option on the actual Cobras, but this particular Cobra happens to have that little feature over there. So where we're at right now is we've got a good battery in it. It's running. the key is actually starting the vehicle now. I used to have to run a jumper wire from the solenoid on the starter, and I was just touching it to the positive on the battery. But now we've got it set up where the key is actually going to start the engine. Check it out. Seriously. Need to give it some gas. Check this out. Spraying some fuel. Give it a couple pumps. I don't think the choke's working on that carburetor either. I've never seen it close. There we go. Loud. Tach's working again too. See that? Yeah, that tach was spinning backwards the other day. I think that was low voltage issue. Regardless, we've got a lot of the little kinks kind of worked out of this thing. So at some point, it actually may be able to be reliably running, so it can be used on Sundays at Cars and Coffee like it's supposed to be. Still no luck on finding the master cylinders. That's a tall order to try to find those guys, but I've got my feelers out looking for them. The issue is they're dual masters, and the output on the master cylinders is in the front. I can find similar master cylinders, but the output line is like over here on the side or over here on this side, which there's no space to run a line through here. So I'm a little bit stuck on that. I believe that I've got to pull the rear end out of this and see what's going on the internals of the gear set. I'm of the opinion that the builder of this car welded the spider gears for the differential together in order to create just a solid axle for straight line traction. And that's fine for going in a straight line, but it's not fine for trying to turn. And when you're trying to turn a car like this that's super lightweight, that has a solid axle, you're asking to, well, you're asking for some oversteer. This is basically a very high-powered drift machine, and I do not believe that's very safe, so I may have to pull out the rear leaf spring pack that runs side to side in order to get that differential out of this unit to pull the cover off and inspect it for welded spider gears. But I'm gonna have to tackle that one later. Now, I did not make a repair video on all the knick-knacky tinker toy items that I've been addressing on this, simply because it's been long and boring and not really great for much entertainment. I mean, I've been laying down on the ground over here trying to run these wires in and get them zip tied and tucked away, install the fan controller, get these fans installed without wrecking the radiator, and also without compromising the installation quality of the rear fans back over here. So it's been quite boring and not really suitable for proper YouTube viewing. So I figured I would just give you guys a follow-up rather than a 4-hour video of me hooking up an electric fan. Sorry if you guys wanted to see it, but like I said, it was not very conducive to a good filming experience. So what I'm gonna do here, since we haven't come up to temp yet and I haven't checked for the effectiveness of that fan, is I'm gonna start this thing, let it idle for a while, and then we're gonna let this thing come up to temp. We're gonna verify actual engine temp with a laser thermometer against the radiator, against the thermostat and the hoses, just to make sure, or just to get an actual reading of what the temperature is. And then we can see those fans, if they're gonna come on and act as they are designed. So we're gonna restart this engine, and then I'll be back when this thing comes up to temp a little bit. See that? Come on. Needs fuel injected. Needs like an LS1. Yeah. Lock you in. Does it lock in or does it just sit there? How's that work? There we go. Got it. All right, laser thermometer. This is going to tell us the temperature of things. 95. Watch this. 126. 110. Now where it matters is the radiator inlet. That's where the thermostat probes are. 121.
The 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. 1.21 gigawatts!
And volts. What's that one? Oil pressure, water temp, right there. Yep. So it's saying 160. It's saying it's 160 here. That's the probe. $151. Still 160. All right. Look at this. Tape. Somebody put tape over a vacuum line. That's not going to work for me. We can't have tape covering up vacuum lines. Yeah. Quarter turn, half turn. It's idling down some now. Let's see if she'll restart. Shut down. Much better. All right, take a look. That one's running. Good. And let's see if the two on the inside are also running. Oh yeah! Yeah, they're singing. Beautiful, look at that. $166 at the temperature, or thermostat, temp probe, there we go. 162 at the thermostat, and the radiator. 144. I think that gauge is a little off. Hot. Yeah, we're hanging in there. Go ahead and shut her down. It's starting to get a little petroleum stinky in here, and I don't like it. So I think that's going to massively assist. Oh, look at there. See how my fan has shut down with the key off? See that? But the other two fans in there, those are still running. Here's what we'll do. We'll change that thermostat so when it's at this temperature, when it's normal operating temperature, they're off. Maybe a little bit more on it. Dial that in just right. So at this engine's temperature at 160, 70, 80 degrees is when those interior fans are gonna come on. I have the thermostat for this thing turned all the way down. So that fan is gonna come on pretty much as soon as coolant flow starts to go through the radiator. You can see the probe right there hanging out. That one on the left, that's the probe. So as soon as heat makes its way through this hose into the radiator, it's gonna kick on that fan right there. But you'll notice that fan shut down with the key off. Those fans are still actuated with the key off. That means that when the controller, this side, that little guy right there, when the controller was installed, they did not run the circuit into the cabin that is designed to shut off power to the fan relay. And I think this is part of this vehicle's battery slash starting slash charging problem, is that after you drive it and it's up to temp, the fans will continue to run and run and run while the vehicle is shut off. Now, we know that electric motors are one of the largest consumers of power, more so than lights or anything else. It's always the electric motors. So we've got potentially two, maybe even 4 electric motors running after the key is off. Remember, there's the ones on the side too, those little guys down there, the computer fans. But we've got 4 motors that don't want to shut down when the key is off. So I think I'm gonna go back into the fender well here, find the shutdown wire for the relay system on the primary set of fans, and we will run those to ignition power as well to give authority to the relay. Does that make sense? Good, makes sense to me. Hope it makes sense to you. So there's more wiring bugs to work out on this. It's not a bad built kit car, but the electronics section of it is a little bit lacking. And again, I believe I should run a new cable from the negative post all the way up to the engine ground somewhere. And that's gonna give this starter motor its best chance to grab all the amps that it needs out of the battery in order to turn over this big block. So guys, that's the update. That's where we're at so far. I've nearly created a running, driving vehicle once again. Stay tuned for future updates on this. And if I end up pulling that rear end apart on this, or when I pull the rear end apart on this, I will definitely make a repair video on that. Up until then, it'll be little shorts and tidbitty, knick-knacky item videos, just for the folks that are interested in the progression of this particular Shelby Corvette. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think about this car in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about my fan installation right there? I'm actually kind of proud of it. I think it's really good. But register your opinions on my fans in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And most importantly, gross, have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video, into Cobra, end of week, end of transmission.